So imagine you finish a 7-book saga about love, death, and destiny, and then someone says, "Great! Now let's add daddy issues, Voldemort's love life, and more plot holes than a Weasley Christmas jumper." Yes, this is canon, and no, I will not be explaining how that works, because neither can the play. Welcome to Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, the only story where the real curse is the plot itself. In this video, I'm going to break down The Cursed Child so you don't have to read it, watch it, or emotionally recover from it. I'll explain the plot, roast the plot, question the plot's life choices, and then gently ask, what if we took everything you loved about Harry Potter and then emotionally drop-kicked it off the astronomy tower? We open 19 years later. Yes, that epilogue we all politely pretended didn't happen, and Harry's now a Ministry big shot, while also absolutely speed-running Worst Dad of the Year award. The boy who lived really evolved into the man who can't parent. Harry's got 3 kids, James, Lily, and Albus, named after people who died tragically, because nothing says healthy parenting like burdening your children with the names of your dead loved ones. Harry's like, "Hey son, you're named after the godfather who died protecting me and the teacher who wanted to bang your grandma whilst bullying me for 7 years. Start your therapy early, kiddo." Albus Severus is basically emo Harry with worse hair and louder feelings, and when he gets sorted into Slytherin, Harry reacts in the way you'd expect a man raised by the Dursleys to react, by becoming the Dursleys. Harry Potter, hero of the wizarding world, tells his son he sometimes wishes Albus wasn't his child, which is wild, especially from a man whose entire personality is abused orphan, desperately seeks love. Harry, my guy, congratulations, you've actually perfected generational trauma. Even Voldemort is watching from the afterlife like, wow, not even I would have said that. Meanwhile, Albus and Scorpius become BFFs on the Hogwarts Express, bonding over daddy issues. Scorpius is Draco's son, but somehow has empathy, anxiety, and a functioning moral compass. Naturally, everyone immediately assumes Scorpius is Voldemort's kid because the wizarding world has apparently never heard of genetics, logic, or the fact that Voldemort hated love more than he hated gingers. Which says a lot because Voldemort definitely hated gingers. He took one look at the Weasleys and said, "Ah, yes, poverty, freckles, and hair crimes. Disgusting." Now, speaking of gingers, Ron Weasley, remember Ron? Strategic genius, loyal friend, war survivor, Horcrux destroyer, ginger icon. Yeah, well, Cursed Child remembers him as the guy who makes jokes and married Hermione somehow. That's it. That's the arc. His entire personality is now poor, ginger, and radiating "I peaked in Book 4" energy. Oh, and Ron and Hermione had a daughter called Rose Granger Weasley, who's also attending Hogwarts. Rose exists mostly to remind us that ginger hair is hereditary and inescapable. The poor girl had a 50-50 chance of not being ginger, and the universe said, absolutely not. Now she's such an angry orange menace that she's basically out here chanting, "Make Hogwarts great again," and trying to build a wall around the school. Rose, sweetie, that wall won't keep the muggles out. Anyway, the plot kicks off when Albus overhears Harry arguing with Amos Diggory, Cedric's dad, who's begging for a time turner to save his son. And Harry's like, nah, time travel is bad vibes. But Albus decides he's going to try to save Cedric Diggory. Why? No reason, just trauma, poor planning, and 0 critical thinking skills. Cedric died years before Albus was even born, but sure, let's add some second-hand survivor's guilt to the agenda. So naturally, Albus and Scorpius decide to steal a time turner, because despite being destroyed in Book 5, the Ministry apparently keeps spare time travel devices in a desk drawer that's clearly labeled "Do not touch unless you want to ruin 7 books." They go back to the Triwizard Tournament and decide the best way to save Cedric is to humiliate him publicly, repeatedly, because nothing preserves a man's soul quite like emotional damage inflicted by minors. Quick pause. If you're enjoying this ginger-fueled theatrical roast, hit that like button and subscribe for more content where I emotionally unpack bad storytelling decisions so you don't have to. Your support is truly valued, unlike the parental support Harry gave to Albus. Okay, back to the nonsense. Now, here's where the plot fully abandons reality and sprints directly into oncoming traffic. Humiliating Cedric doesn't just save him, it turns him into a Death Eater. Yes, Cedric Diggory, the walking, smiling moral compass, becomes evil because he lost a school competition. Apparently, his moral alignment was held together by confidence alone. One bad day and he's like, well, guess I'll go serve Wizard Hitler now. No therapy, no journaling, not even a sad shower cry, just straight into magical fascism. This, by the way, is the same guy who gave Harry a hint to help him win during the Triwizard Tournament. But sure, one humiliation and he's ready to murder muggles. The character assassination is breathtaking. This creates an alternate timeline where Voldemort wins, Harry's dead, and everything sucks. Ron and Hermione aren't married. Hermione is miserable. Ron married Padma Patil, and Ron is obviously still ginger. Voldemort can win. History can collapse, but the multiverse drew the line at changing that hair color. They end up fixing that timeline, but then create another alternate timeline where Voldemort still wins, but differently. At this point, the timelines have more branches than the Whomping Willow. But eventually they fix everything and get back to the original timeline. And then, because the play hadn't yet committed its final crime, we meet Delphi, Voldemort's daughter. Yes, Voldemort had a kid with Bellatrix Lestrange, so during a wizarding war, while planning genocide, Voldemort decided it was a good time to get the willy tingles for Bellatrix. And with the state of that nose, or lack thereof, who knows what he was packing down there? And how did nobody notice Bellatrix was pregnant? Was she just aggressively hiding it under those dramatic Death Eater robes? Did she hiss for the Dark Lord during labor? Did she take maternity leave from magical terrorism? Delphi's plan is to go back in time and stop Voldemort from killing baby Harry, which somehow brings Voldemort back. The logic here is so mangled, it even makes Dumbledore's questionable plans look brilliant. At this point, the timeline itself is begging for mercy. The climax forces Harry to relive his parents' deaths, because apparently this play's mission statement was, what if Harry had even more emotional damage? Eventually, everyone teams up, Delphi is defeated, and Harry finally realizes that being emotionally available to your children is actually important. Revolutionary stuff. Scorpius remains the best character, Ron remains ginger, and Canon cries softly in the corner. And that's Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Did you spot the chocolate frog hidden somewhere in this video? If you did, comment below with the timestamp and a frog emoji, but wrong answers only. Until next time, mischief managed, unlike the plot, the time travel, or Ron Weasley's dignity.